fractions. All right, today, by the way, I counted you absent because you're not sitting in your seat, and I have to correct that here in a little bit. Please ask me. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when you first learned about fractions and things like that, they said you can't divide fractions. So you have to change division into multiplication. A divided by B is the same thing as saying A times 1 over B. Is it not the same thing? Now, because we take for granted that this is B over 1, we don't realize what you're actually doing there. What did the B over 1 basically become? To change division, this means division. Division into multiplication, what happened? The B over 1, you changed it to a what?
1 over b.
What did you do?
Flipped it.
To divide by something, yeah, you flipped it. To divide by something is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of A over B?
b over a.
B over A. You should remember that. So A divided by B over C is the same thing as saying what? Can anybody complete that? I want you to change division into multiplication on your paper, see if you can do it. What'd you guys put here? What did I say? To divide by something, what am I dividing by here? B over C is the same thing as multiplying by its what? Reciprocal. That's what this whole section is about. Or if you had something like this, A over B divided by C over D, how would you write that?
A over b times d over c.
I want to change division into multiplication.
D over
Whatever's
c.
at the bottom, you what?
Go to the top.
Whatever you're dividing by, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, which would be what? D over C. Let's pay attention, everyone. Let's not draw. You guys should remember doing something like this, shouldn't you? It's just you hated it and you haven't messed with it in a long time. But unfortunately, when you get big, ugly fractions divided by fractions with variables in them, you can't really put that into a calculator, can you? You can't put x over 3 divided by y squared divided by x. You can't put that into a calculator and simplify it. So we need to be able to do this. Once you've got all that written down, we'll do an example, a couple examples. We'll start with just some numbers. Everybody got that down? Please put your phone up. No, that's not up. Okay, first example. Let's do this one. 1/2 divided by 2 over 3. Shall see. Okay, what are we going to do here? 1/2 thing on top, divide by something the same thing as to multiply by its. So I'm dividing by what? 2 over 3, right? So it's the same thing to multiply by what? You change division but to multiplication by putting the number on the bottom and flipping it. What do you get as an answer? 3 over what? I'll expect to see all that work on your paper. No, I'm not. I said, no, I'm not kidding.
You don't want us to simplify it?
Let's do another one. Tell you what, how about we make that 4. Two-thirds divided by 4. What have I done to help myself out here a little bit? Does this line and this line mean the exact same thing? Yeah, they do. That means divided by. But I'm kind of separating the two numbers by like I did up here, by making it what? Bigger. The book makes it in bold if you look in the book. Right, Raven? Well, she can just listen to me. That'd be better. Not your fault. Listen to me. The book makes this line bold. This means 1/2 divided by 2 over 3. This means 2/3 divided by 4. So I can't divide fractions, so change division into what? Multiplication, what do I do?
2/3 over
2/3 times, what do I do with the number at the bottom? Now this is just a 4 here, but it's understood to be 4 over what?
1.
So when I take the reciprocal, it will be what?
1.
Now, when you multiply fractions, you just multiply the top, you multiply the bottom, correct? You can either do that and you would get 2 over 12, or you could reduce before you multiply, because if you look here, does that reduce? 1 over what?
6.
How could you have reduced before you multiplied? 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into that 2 times. 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 2 is what? Quiet. Any questions on that one? Ashton? Okay. Now, as you imagine, we're going to have some ugly, maybe some variables. X divided by y squared over x squared over y. Has the concept changed at all? I gotta change division into what?
Multiplication.
How do I do that? The number at the bottom, I what? X over y squared times, what do I do with it? I flip it. It becomes what? Once again, there's two ways you can do this. You can reduce before you multiply or afterwards. If you just multiply the top, you'd get xy over what? X squared, y squared, right? Does everybody agree? However, x goes into that. There's one x left on bottom. The answer is actually 1 over xy. Now, how did I get that? There's one x up here. It cancels out one of these two down here, leaving one down here, right? There's what? One y up here. It cancels out one of these two, leaving one there. So all you're left with is the number 1 times 1 on top. Okay? Y times x on bottom, and you need to put it in alphabetical order when you write them.